The road to Elimination Chamber is upon us. The chamber is almost set, but not quite. Jason Jordan gets sent home by his daddy, and Braun Strowman power slams an entire arena right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah, what up, everybody? Welcome. Oh, as we hit the lights, Tony Tone making it happen. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Raw After Show right here on AFTERBUZZ TV. Good to be back. We got a full squad in studio. Let's waste no more seconds. Johnny LaQuasto here with you at J Quasto. The lady on my far left, you can see her on a brand new episode of Fangirling that is going to be Black Panther themed on Alpha coming up very soon. Also, she hosted a whole bunch of stuff for Nerdist coming up featuring Black Panther as well. And you can see her every week on Marvel Movie News. Follow her everywhere at Markeia McCarty. She's Markeia McCarty.
Yes, because it's Black Panther month, y'all. That is an absolute fact.
It's Black Panther History Month.
Yes. Actually, yes.
That's important.
Maybe it's Black History Panther Month.
Could be.
Because we're not just looking at Black Panther's history.
Good point. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, there's a lot of punctuation in there, and like parentheses, on like the Black History Panther Month.
Very important month, regardless. Very important month.
Indeed. I've had a blast this month talking about one of my many passions, obviously wrestling is. But one of my many passions, which is Black Panther, and yeah, like Johnny said, follow me at Markeia McCarty, Markeia McCarty.
What's crazy is we're still over a week away from the movie being released,
That's
and
crazy.
you know, you're heavy into it, which is great.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you go down that comics hole, I mean, there's no way out.
Yes.
I mean, you're trapped. You're Alice.
hole.
You're Alice in the comics hole.
I can relate. I'm hosting a DC show every week. I'm in a different kind of hole, and we're trying to climb our way out of it. But nonetheless,
Wow.
No.
my man right next to her, you have seen him. Well, he's a former Heritage Champion at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. He's wrestled for WWE as well as multiple other companies as well. And most recently, Championship Wrestling from Arizona. Follow him everywhere at True Hobo. He's the Hobo.
Yep, I do the wrestling stuff.
Yeah, buddy.
I am very analytical with my mind.
As I walked in the studio,
My mind powers.
That is what we say. That is Hobo's tagline.
Yeah,
Analytical with his mind.
the mind.
as I walked in the studio tonight, Hobo had just a massive grilled chicken breast in a bag, and he was holding the bag and just chomping on the chicken breast.
Yeah, some hobos I know drink wine or some other beverage that way.
Right,
For
right,
me,
right.
it's chicken. If you see me with a suspicious plastic or paper bag, there's usually protein in it.
Yeah, well, there should be more proteins in a bag. So
I
there
showed
you
up
go.
after the
You can do
leftovers.
eggs.
Yeah, and what's
Beans-
crazy is I'm
beans
looking
are
at the.
protein.
It looked like it was slightly seasoned, but for me, and I love eating chicken breast, but you were just enjoying it. It would have been hard for me to have no condiment, and you pulled it off with no condiment.
Well, if you do the seasoning right, you really don't need any condiments. The lucky thing about herbs is
Fair
they
enough.
just grow everywhere. I've seen fields of dill here in open lots in Southern California, and that's a great seasoning to use. It brings out the buttery flavor that's in chicken as well as fish, but if you use it in chicken, you get a very buttery flavor. And if you snag a couple lemons off of a nearby tree, which they're kind of everywhere around here, you got everything you need.
Okay.
all right. Well, it's official then. Hobo loves a dry rub on
Right.
on the chicken.
I mean, I wouldn't have dared
that
to
is.
ask you for part of your chicken breast, so
No,
I didn't know.
no.
I was not about to ask you for any.
That's mine.
I know. I know that. And this is your second time on the show.
It
correct?
is. It is.
But our first time working together. You can follow him on Instagram at BSupreme. He's also one of the hosts of the Total Divas After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. Roger Corral, what's up, buddy?
What is up? Thank you guys for welcoming me back. And yeah, you can find me anywhere. Just Google Be Supreme and I'll pop up.
And you should be supreme.
Yeah.
Be a star.
Put that sour cream on
Yes, Golden Corral.
Oh my God.
it. I have a lot of foods associated.
You know,
But
being from Pennsylvania, I've been to Golden Corral one too many times.
It's a great place.
Great is a strong
pretty,
word.
No, it's pretty good. You have to hit it at the right time.
you went from great to
It is
pretty good.
It's the great
Pretty good.
American
Well,
buffet.
I remember Ponderosa.
Oh, I
and
sure do.
Ponderosa's like,
And they're pretty much synonymous.
yeah.
But, although Ponderosa was worse, right?
Well, it depends on the time that you hit it. But Golden Corral, Pretty good.
I say that about a lot of things, really.
But Golden Corral still exists.
Yes,
so therefore,
yes. Definitely in Florida. I don't know about other places, but my parents love themselves some Golden Corral.
There's a Golden Corral out here. I've seen it.
I'm from
Where?
Texas, and we have a lot of Golden Corrals.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah, a
I
lot
will
of
go.
corrals.
Yeah,
Period.
in general.
Yeah.
I can tell you
It's
that-
like $10 for buffets.
I can tell you the first restaurant I worked at is definitely out of business at this point. It used to be East Coast salad. It was all over the place.
Okay.
And they had a couple of hepatitis issues, and it went under. It was called Chi-Chi's.
Wow.
Oh, the first one I worked
Oh,
at
the
was
pizza place.
No, Mexican restaurant.
Chi-Chi's.
Oh, yeah.
Mexican
okay. Yeah.
First one I worked at
seen
was
them out here.
Gator Family Restaurant. It was
boy.
across the street from Gatorland.
Oh, of
course.
It was just like, yeah, and there was Gator on the menu.
Okay.
So do with that what you will. They are no longer open.
Damn.
Did
No.
they serve gator?
They
Have
did.
you eaten a lot of gator? It's hard for me to get my hands on a lot of gator because they're a feisty animal.
They sure are.
Yeah, it was a cross between chicken and shrimp.
Yeah.
Was
Chicken
Gator.
and
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's a fair assessment.
We
makes
have
sense.
gone on such a tangent.
I can see you eating gator out of a plastic bag for sure.
Yeah.
It's all in the condiments,
A
right?
lot of meat. I mean, a lot of meat on a gator.
Hey, Hobo, what are you eating? Gator?
Gator.
Fair enough. Not going to ask any more questions. All right, let's get to Raw. Starting off, we already have a match to kick off the show. Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns. Bray has a couple things to say. He won the Chamber last year. Remember that one moment when we all said, finally, for Bray Wyatt? And then Randy Orton.
Yeah, that one moment.
One moment.
He had
moment.
He had one. He
One.
had one.
Everybody gets
Did.
one.
And then
Yes,
Randy Orton.
so says your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
And then Randy Orton wasn't even scared of him at WrestleMania. So he says he won the Chamber last year, but Roman stands in his way. Obviously, they're old friends, they're old adversaries. He says, Roman, I see you for what you truly are, a failure waiting to be put out of his misery. I'm happy to oblige. For Roman follows that up with saying, I'm not a failure, I have my ups and downs, I always get up, all the hero stuff. And he says, hey, nothing's going to stop me from going to the Chamber. We kick off with the match. Physical, I love how, my favorite part about this, I don't know if you guys noticed this, at one point, there was a camera close up on Bray, and you just saw his eyes, and he's legit talking to himself in very hysterical fashion. And that is, okay, Roman won the match. We all know.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have known without watching the match. Roman wins.
Yeah,
with the
is it
spear.
almost Roman wins LOL at this point?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, and so, but I just love that moment where it's like, okay, this is insane Bray.
It's not insane. Insanity is just something you don't understand.
Look, I'm not saying insane in a bad way. I'm saying it's brilliant to watch.
Wait, are you saying Bray Wyatt understands himself?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Whether you understand him or not is not his problem. That's yours.
Yeah,
a fair
I've
assessment.
never doubted that Bray Wyatt isn't totally secure in what Bray Wyatt is. I've never doubted that. Something else I've never doubted is that Bray will always have fun in the match. Like, no matter what the match is, he will have that psychological element to it where he's just going to bring that it's like a maniacal glee that he brings to his matches, and I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he enjoys pain. He enjoys inflicting pain and damage, and that's what he did to Roman Reigns tonight. Roman Reigns has a lot of power, but when you go power for power against Bray Wyatt, you really can't stand up as well, and Bray taught him just what his power is. It is that somewhat a step above Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns had to rely on speed and using different angles in order to get a victory over Bray Wyatt.
I like that assessment about Bray. I feel like he reminds me of Mankind when he first made his debut. He enjoyed the pain. He didn't care whether he won or lost.
Right.
That's kind of, and he enjoyed himself out there. That's basically all he cares about.
You never see Bray lament over a loss, which is a good
No.
thing.
I mean,
There's too many of them. It's a good thing he doesn't lament over losses. And then, of course, after the match, Matt Hardy with the twist of fate. I am completely... I'm glad whatever they're doing is arguably going to continue. Now, granted, Bray Wyatt still has a shot in the Elimination Chamber, which we'll discuss. But I still don't think... I'm glad Bray and Hardy's not over, because we certainly have not seen the best of what that could be. I don't think.
Not yet, not nearly. They've only had one match, and that was a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah,
or a
at
few
the
weeks
Manhattan
ago.
Center.
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
A short
the
match.
25th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
Or- yeah,
And
it was during the 25th anniversary.
It wasn't anything of length or substance, and Bray was able to get the victory fairly easy.
Yes.
this has not reached its conclusion. Not nearly. And now begins the speculation of where this is going to go, how this is going to manifest itself at Elimination Chamber or maybe even WrestleMania.
I think these two, and granted, Bray could end up in the Elimination Chamber. It'd be weird for the guy who won it last year to not be in it. But he could be in the chamber, and that can still lead to a match with Matt Hardy at WrestleMania. And those two could put on such a weird display that will be completely different from the rest of a 4-hour card.
Yeah,
right?
And we're not talking House of Horrors display. We're not talking that, you know. I mean, if they're going to do an outside thing, more like
I wouldn't mind
resurrect the compound and have like a
yeah.
thing going there. But I prefer for there to be a very strong Matt Hardy element to it, where by that point we have built up, you know, his outside video presence again,
Yeah.
See, yeah.
where it's not just with Twitter. So we have drones, we have riding lawnmowers. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you
Some
mentioned
dilapidated boats.
Exactly.
Skarsgård. It's funny you mention compounds. They each have one. The Wyatts have one, and the Hardys have one. And for WrestleMania, they could really pull out all the stops. They can do production in both areas. You can have Vanguard 1 involved. Like, this can get as weird as they want it to get, which could be incredible. And especially now that Jeremy Borash is on board, he was a huge part of that creative process with the Hardys.
That's right. I still don't know what Matt Hardy's true element is. I feel like I try to understand him. I don't know what his final goal is. You know, because when we first discovered Matt Hardy being broken or woke at this point, I'm not sure what his status is. He was trying to reach his brother. So at this point, where is Matt Hardy going? I don't exactly know what he's woken from.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a valid question.
And yes, chat room, we're well aware the compound was burned down by Randy Orton.
He
But
still
things
owns
can
the
be
land.
rebuilt.
No,
They can be rebuilt.
I will beg to differ, though. It wasn't necessarily the compound. It was just that one area that
Oh, there
supposedly
you go.
housed Sister Abigail. If you look at the old videos of that compound, that wasn't burned down.
Or when you know, Whites went up against the New Day, you could see the compound was it was big.
It's
it was
vast.
a very big compound. It
Yeah,
wasn't
it's-
just that one tree and that one cabin.
Where they live, land is pretty cheap.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I'm pretty sure. Wherever that may be. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so Roman moves on. He is definitely in the Elimination Chamber. Revival taking on Balor and Anderson. Interesting combination, but hey, Balor Club, you get to interchange people. Coup de grace for the win on Dawson by Balor. Not quite sure what's going on with the Revival since their return. It's a bummer, but hey, maybe it's just going to, it's going to take them a little while to get back to where they want to go to, I guess.
Yeah, it's really weird to see them kind of gain wins or losses, and you wonder what it means for them. The one thing I can say, though, is the Revival are the Revival, no matter if they win or lose. There was a moment on the side of the ring that I noticed barely. It was almost a throwaway. But Scott Dawson standing there with mic in hand, and they're talking to their opponents, and someone goes to take a selfie with Scott Dawson, and Scott Dawson turns his back on that individual himself.
Yep.
Just to spite him.
Yeah.
The Revival are too good for the audience.
I agree.
They know it.
Yes.
Hey.
And despite if they win or they lose, they remain the top tier of tag team wrestling.
Exactly.
Yeah. This tag team match, I mean, with the two of them was no flies. What was it? No. What's their tagline?
Oh, no flips, just fists.
No flips, just fists.
Yeah.
It's like no photos. And something else. With this match though, with this tag team match though, I very much enjoyed how both of them worked, like their dynamic, and I mean that for both of the teams with it. It's really good to just get a really solid tag team match that's going on, and
It's also, this is the most fun, I think, Balor's, like, that smile is genuine.
he was having a ball.
Well, when you're hanging
I mean,
out
why
with
Very
wouldn't
much
he? Yeah.
was.
Gallows and Anderson are fun dudes. It's like, I understand, and they're old friends. I mean, it's pretty cool, and I understand some people think, like, oh, they just put them together because they didn't know what to do. No, it makes sense. You know,
it was bound to happen eventually.
Right.
It's just interesting that it's happening right now. And because of the association, you wonder what Balor's trajectory is going to be. I'd say he's up for a singles title challenge, but because of his association with Gallows and Anderson, does that sort of bring him back down? Is he going to reach that level?
I'm thinking at this point, WrestleMania, it could be leading to a 6-man tag. They just have to feud with, I don't know who.
Right. Or if the Revival pick up a third member, who's the third member of the Revival going to be?
Sure.
I mean, okay, so if you have like Balor Club and Revival, who are you rooting for, Roger?
I mean, I feel like the Revival is a solid team. You're always going to get a solid match out of them. They remind me of Saturday morning wrestling, you know, just typical good Southern type of wrestling. I don't know. I honestly feel like whenever they do come out, I'm bored. So I think that's a problem. When the Revival comes out, and it might be the music, it might be their character. There's something that's missing there. Because again, once they're in the ring, it's beautiful.
Right. I mean, part of their thing is they're not flashy. So
Yeah, they're like the minimalists of the tag team division.
But they need something, because they remind me of Arn Anderson. You know, they have that feel,
Well, yeah.
again,
They're
that rugged
supposed
feel.
to. That's literally what they're going for.
they are the Brainbusters
Yeah, they are.
2.0. Essentially. But yeah, I see your point there. Next up, we have Sasha Banks watching her match against Asuka from last week. Bayley approaches her and said, "Hey, I'm going up against Asuka. You got some tips?" And Sasha's like, "Nope." And then they kind of have this weird frenemy thing going back and forth. And Bayley says, "You know, I don't know if I could beat Asuka, but I could definitely beat you." And Sasha's like, "Okay, then." And Bayley, she leaves. And Sasha's just, it's, you know, it's interesting. I enjoyed it.
Weren't we all Sasha, though, at that point where it's just like you rewatch something that you did like over and over again?
I'm that
where it's
all
just
the time.
like, yeah. I mean, she was all of us for right then.
Yeah.
Well, as a professional, I can speak to this. You watch your own tape a lot. You do. You want to see exactly where your mistakes are, where you tripped up. Learn from a loss rather than let it sit and sort of weigh you down. A loss is an opportunity to learn more than it is anything else. A win is good, but you cannot learn from a win what you can from a loss. So you have to go back. You have to watch tape. You have to study yourself, study your opponents. And Asuka is still holding the bar for women's wrestling. She is undefeated, and as such, she is the opponent that everybody is aiming for, and I'm sure Sasha is chomping at the bit for a rematch with Asuka.
That has to drive Sasha mad. You know, Sasha was the epitome of women's wrestling for the past year or so. Like, she was in every top match, she was gaining all these accomplishments, and to see Asuka reach that level while Sasha seems kind of lost in the shuffle,
Well,
it has to bother her.
It's good. It's time to raise that game then.
Yep.
You know?
It's that time of year.
That's how we learn. That's how we excel. We have to match ourselves up with people that are better than us, you know, in that way, or are just more focused in a certain way. And then when you do that, you raise your bar, and that helps the person that's looking at you, and it's just this whole great thing.
You got to step your game up. And speaking of which, 205 Live got an injection that I'm very excited about. It's interesting they are saying the name Rockstar Spud, but obviously he's Drake Maverick. If you don't know...
name.
I love Drake.
Great
Maverick.
name.
And if you don't know who Rockstar Spud is, he is one of the most charismatic people in professional wrestling, one of the most talented on the microphone. Right now, you might be thinking, oh, he's just playing at status quo, because he is. He's the new GM of 205 Live, but trust me, he can be pompous, he can be an idiot, and it could be brilliant. And so I couldn't be more excited for him to be on board. On this match, he's on commentary. We have Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali taking on Drew Gulak and Tony Nese in a tag team match.
Well, that's embarrassing.
And that's
You
what
know-
happens when the engineer walks away during the
Yeah.
Doesn't happen very often, but
Not very.
Which
It was
it's-
probably just
yeah.
that sweet spot of the trade of engineers that just.
maybe we'll get it later.
happened
Let's try again later.
Yeah, we'll
Try
we'll
not to
just-
be embarrassed.
That was.
And if not, we'll just acapella it together, I guess.
We're just not going to rewatch that one. Don't rewatch that.
Yeah, we're just talking about reviewing tape.
Or don't review that
We're
tape.
gonna
There's no
edit
point.
that out. Post.
Just gonna- Yeah.
You're funny.
Yeah, this ain't live or nothing. So anyways, Drake Maverick on commentary. Cedric Alexander, arguably the hottest wrestler in 205 Live right now, hits the lumbar check on Drew Gulak for the win. And since Drake's come on board, there's been a lot of funny segments. You know, Drew Gulak getting him flowers, and you know they're doing 16-man tournament, which is really interesting. You have Roderick Strong joining the tournament as well. I think this is, look, everything that happened with Enzo, we're not going to comment on because it's not our place to comment on. It's very unfortunate and awful, and I hope it gets resolved. But having Drake Maverick on board now, you couldn't ask for a better person.
Yeah, something that Hobo and I were saying last week is just it was an opportunity for them to have a really great GM that would fit with what 205 Live is trying to do. Someone that can kind of be a Swiss Army knife for just that 205 Live voice. And it looks like Drake is definitely going to be that. For this particular match, though, wow. Alexander was showing it, though.
He's great.
You know?
He always shows it, though.
Yeah, but this was...
But in my opinion, Mustafa Ali has got just a little bit more heart than Cedric Alexander. I feel that Cedric knows that he's good, and he doesn't feel that he has to prove himself as much. But Mustafa Ali, if you follow him on social media, he is always working to perfect what he does. I think he's got the biggest upshot of anybody. Sure, Cedric is good, but I think Mustafa Ali is the heart of 205 Live, and I think he should be showcased a little bit more.
Well,
Yeah, well,
okay.
he does the, what is it, the inverted 450?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. That steals my life every time that he does it, and it's always gorgeous.
It is. Well, let me ask you a question. Speaking of Cedric and Mustafa Ali, do either one of these two make the finals in your eyes? Because there's only two people that have moved on. We still have, you know,
It's
6 more to go.
the momentum that Cedric has gained in the last few months is not slowed down in the least. I think he's going to be probably the man to beat in the tournament, but I'd say Roderick Strong is the biggest possibility for upset in the tournament. Roderick Strong can wrestle anybody of any size with a lot of power. I mean, a lot of power.
Yep.
He's wrestled far above the 205 weight class, and he could mess up anybody in the
I thought he
cruiserweight
was
class.
well above 205.
No. He's deceptively small, but the power there is almost limitless.
Fair enough. And as we mentioned earlier, that match was a tag team match.
Oh.
See, I knew we could get it up.
Yeah.
I knew we could get it up.
He was on a bathroom break.
There we go. All is right in the world.
You just relax and it'll happen.
Next up, I love this segment. Kurt Angle announces the Women's Elimination Chamber match, that it's going to be Alexa Bliss, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. Alexa comes out, and once again, she's angry because she's always angry. But this was fantastic, this back and forth. I mean, Alexa calling Kurt sexist. Brock doesn't have to defend his title. Why do I have to? And Kurt's like, because the last time you defended your title was in October. She's like, that's your fault. You're the GM. She had an answer for everything he said, and everything she said was so perfect.
She's
And
right.
then-
Yeah.
She's 100% right.
She's right, and she just, and at one point,
I don't
she's
see
like,
a
you know
lie.
what? You can see the look in her eyes. She's like, I ain't done yet. I'm leaving right now. And I love how she just left the ring as if to like, you could see, she's like, I ain't done. I'm doing something about this. Now, what is she going to do? I have no idea.
She could not compete. Honestly, that would be the biggest thing she could do to mess up Kurt Angle's working relationship in his life is just to not compete.
And
The bell rings and she hightails it out of there.
Yeah.
Takes the belt and leaves.
It was awesome.
Yeah, but then this upcoming match, it's so Absolution heavy. I mean, you have 2/3 of Absolution. Well, you have all of Absolution that can, play
You
Alicia-
have
right
Absolution.
now. You have Absolution.
Alicia Fox, I believe, broke her tailbone, so she's out.
She broke it.
That's what I
no.
I think it's a tailbone injury. I heard fracture, but I don't know
That's
for sure.
tailbone's a very sensitive part of the body.
Oh,
Why do you think Bob Backlund won so many matches?
that's true.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, they kind of have to be in because there's not enough women on the Raw roster to. If you're not going to put Nia or Asuka in there, there's not enough women to fill out the 6.
I still don't know why we can't throw in Nia. It felt a bit messy to me. I don't understand why she can't go into that match.
I think they just have a different trajectory for her.
Yeah.
And
But then it
plus,
feels convoluted.
If you put her in the Elimination Chamber, I would just want her to be like, like if you had like a ball in a cup and you just like spin her around.
That's your description.
I just want her, yeah, that's the closest that I have to a description of it. I just want her to like smash everybody else around the, you know, the cage.
I like that.
Also, I think if you don't put Nia in there, who's Asuka gonna? She's not gonna appear in the pay-per-view, and I think they want her
Yeah.
on there.
I mean, Nia versus Asuka, that's a pay-per-view level match.
Sure.
Period. End of story. The fact that we got it on a Raw a couple of weeks ago was a surprise, and that match was really good.
It was really
It was.
good.
Them at Elimination Chamber is going to be even better. I look forward to it, but I mean, with the stipulation of that angle added, I'm interested to see exactly what's going to happen.
Yes, I do dig that for sure.
See, I don't think the stipulation is fair at all. You know, all these women had to go through a 30-women Royal Rumble match to get their spot, and Nia could just bypass all of that through one match. Granted, it happens around this time of year anyways, but I don't think it's fair.
If you're able to beat someone who is unbeatable, I think it really pushes you to the top. If you're able to prove that you are better than the absolute best currently, that puts you in another class, and
But
I
she
think
had
that
that.
allows you the opportunity.
She had that opportunity at the Royal Rumble. This is a second opportunity for Nia, basically.
I mean, we could talk about what's fair. We also got to talk about what makes sense. Is the fact that Asuka still hasn't said what title she's going for. So is this tipping the cap without by accident? I feel like it did.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, she's gonna go after the women's title. I mean,
Well, no, but you can go after.
I mean,
I don't think that's the question.
No, you can go
okay,
after.
sorry. I was just like, because there's no other.
No.
I spaced for a second. Was
If
it?
you win the Rumble, you can go after the Raw or SmackDown.
Oh yeah.
Right. She
No,
can jump ship.
Asuka's gonna stay on Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, because
at this point.
because we need her. That's why she's staying on Raw. That is the main reason why.
Right.
That and because I love her now, so she needs to stay on Raw.
Asuka Charlotte would be something else, but I
It
obviously
would be, but Charlotte can she can come visit.
sure.
No problem.
I mean, SmackDown's gonna have to do their own thing. Do they have a pay-per-view for Mania? Is there Fastlane?
They must have one before.
Fastlane a thing? It might be.
Yeah.
I'm certain that they do.
Roadblock? I don't know.
Chat room, if you can help us out with that, you know.
I bet you there's a Fastlane.
Is it
before
Great Balls
Mania.
of Fire 2? Sorry, it's not.
Also, I thought it was a risky
I'm
move to
messing
do
around.
a sexist angle with Alexa Bliss. They got the crowd to boo her in the middle of.
No, more than that, they got O's.
They got yeah.
Fastlane.
It was
Fastlane.
Fastlane. We got Fastlane coming up.
Thank you, chat room.
My Wi-Fi's not working, chat room, so I apologize. I don't know why, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, but I agree though, but at the same time, look at the past. Anytime there's been a hot button topic in the public eye, they have not been afraid to jump on top of that. And obviously the women's revolution is going on. Why not have Alexa Bliss come out and be like, yo, you're being sexist? And she's so good on the mic and at being her character. That was fantastic.
I mean, the questions she asked were absolutely valid.
Yeah.
Do you value Brock Lesnar more than you value me? Do you value us as equals? Will you allow me the same leeway that you allow Brock Lesnar?
And the truth
Angle
is,
couldn't
yes,
stand
yes,
for
he
that.
does.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does value Brock Lesnar more than her. That's the truth.
And
But he's not going to say it.
right. But that means Alexa Bliss is correct in
Exactly,
everything she
and
said.
that's why it was so good. It was logical. Everything she said had so much logic behind it, and a lot of that is missing in wrestling.
Yeah.
But everything she
Yeah.
said made perfect sense.
I agree. I don't know
Yeah.
if the crowd agreed, but
Well, you know, I mean,
But I agree.
if the women's championship belt is supposed to be at the same level as the universal championship belt, then you would treat those champions the same. Like, if the universal champion only has to defend that belt so many times a year, why would you expect for the women's champion to defend it more?
That's logic.
that's
I
fine.
mean,
Can't
I
argue.
mean, there we go. Have the universal champion defend it more. I don't think we would feel bad about that.
Right. If Alexa were to not defend, would they strip her of the belt? Because they haven't done that with Lesnar. But they have done that with others in the past.
We shall see. I don't think this
Yeah.
is done. Obviously, she.
No.
she's-
No, I don't think this is done at all.
So,
She took a break. She's not yielding the points. She's just taking a break and regrouping.
Yep. Cena cuts a selfie promo saying he's going to defeat Braun and Elias in the main event tonight to see who goes out last in the Elimination Chamber. Asuka versus Bayley. This was really good. Bayley was in control for a lot of it. Almost got a pin. Very, very close. But all it takes is 1 second. Asuka locks in that arm bar. Still undefeated. And, yeah.
Bayley took a lot of liberties tonight.
Sure
and
did.
I like seeing that in her arsenal. The fact that she's taking Asuka seriously enough to have a killer instinct with her, to use the outside of the ring as part of her arsenal. It actually cements in my mind how seriously she is taking Asuka as an opponent, and she worked incredibly hard to try and secure a win over Asuka tonight. Unfortunately, Asuka is Asuka, and that just was not possible.
Well, there's anyone who doesn't take Asuka seriously as an opponent is someone that shouldn't be on Raw right now, you know, kind of a thing. For this particular match, I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I definitely enjoyed it. But I guess I'm still kind of smarting from Bayley back when Kendo on a stick, you know, match against Alexa Bliss. And I still want... I want more of that fierce warrior that I know that Bayley can do.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a face that just does hugs and won't then take down your opponent like an Amazonian warrior. And that's what I want from Bayley. And I think out of everybody that's on the roster, Asuka is that person that she can go full Bayley with.
I mean, size-wise, she matches up better with Bayley clearly than Sasha does. Bayley's fairly tall, and she's strong.
Yes, she outweighs her and has a size advantage. But I'm surprised, Markeia, that you didn't see Bayley tonight as really being more ferocious and bringing it to Asuka.
She was more ferocious. She definitely was. I just want more.
How much more? She was using the barricade.
I mean, she obviously lost.
She did, and she was. And I'm not trying to detract from what she presented tonight, but I guess I want her to toe that line or cross that line a bit more. I agree.
I think she did that.
I need that.
In my opinion, she did that. She crossed the line as somebody who doesn't normally do that kind of thing, and she did that.
I think the effort is there. And again, this is a time of year when everyone needs to step it up. I think she's doing a phenomenal job. I'm not sure if it's enough. I agree with that. But I see the effort.
Right. I mean, she can get the win.
Yeah.
But how far is too far before you start openly cheating to try and secure a win over somebody?
I guess, once is, kind of like, oh, that's a fluke. Twice is a possible pattern of behavior. And then third is a definite. So let me just see it again from her, this fierceness.
Okay. With you on that one. The Bar cuts a selfie promo about defending the tag titles tonight and getting rid of Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins. The Miz, once again, says 2018 is the year of The Miz. He's going to be the first ever Intercontinental Universal Champion because he's going to enter the Elimination Chamber after winning his match right now, and then he's going to win the Elimination Chamber and become the champion. Miz versus Apollo Crews. I love Titus Worldwide. I loved how the three of them, they found a way to make Dana Brooke fun, and unfortunately for Apollo, did not get the win, but there were a lot of great moments in this match, and Miz just took one slight opening and in the skull-crushing finale for the W, Roger.
I think it was a bit much for Apollo Crews. The Miz is an experienced veteran. He's been around for a long time. He knows how to get these type of wins around this time of year. I think it was more of a challenge to Apollo Crews. I didn't see it as an opportunity for Apollo Crews. I saw it as a learning lesson for Apollo Crews.
I'd say the match itself was an opportunity in that Crews has not gotten a lot of high-profile wins.
That's true.
And recently he's been on a bit of an upward trajectory with Titus last week, not counting, so to speak. But he's doing better. I'd say he's using a lot more of a broader moveset. He's using a lot more power and with the additional high flying.
But is it getting him wins?
Well, I don't know if we should focus so much on the W with this, because when I saw this match, I saw something that you would show someone to be like, hey, here's my arsenal, here's my skill set, and I'm going up against The Miz, this seasoned veteran, as we know. God, he's great on the mic, he's great in the ring, he's just and he's a weasel. We love him. With this match, I was very impressed with how Apollo Crews centric it was. He got his movesets out. They landed great. Miz sold things awesomely because he's the Miz, and I enjoyed this. I mean, if there's a reel that Apollo Crews does for anything, or we're gonna have a highlight reel for this, Yeah, this match really did do it.
You're right.
There
But
are a couple moments where I thought Apollo was going to win because I was like, okay, I could totally see him being in the chamber, and that way Miz defends the IC title. Boom. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Miz pulled out the victory, but if Apollo would have gotten in, that would have been huge.
Miz pulled out a dirty victory.
Sure.
I think Cruz took it to Miz so hard that Miz had to use a legal low blow in order to secure a victory.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a tip of the cap to this young guy who's coming up seemingly out of nowhere and bringing it to a seasoned veteran champion.
Seasoned like your chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
I don't know if Paulo Cruz is delicious.
Yeah.
But if I ever sink my teeth into him,
But you
let you
said,
know.
you said the Miz was
No.
seasoned.
Yeah.
The Miz was seasoned.
Yeah.
That was referring to the Miz.
Oh, well,
Right.
honestly, I'd probably go with Cruz. He's got more meat on him.
Okay.
Just more
Yeah.
muscle mass. I'd
According
say
to
he's got more protein.
To the commentators, 240. He's at a solid 240.
Wow.
That's
That's what the
tough.
commentators said.
They
240.
did. They were calling him
They did.
240. Now,
He was
I
doing a-
said he's put on weight. I wouldn't say he's put on that much weight.
I know all that muscle. He was doing a
He's-
lot of power-centric moves.
Yeah.
He's
So,
got a lot
you know,
of
he's got to
power.
have that muscle
I'd
to
say
be able
maybe
to do it.
he's up to 230. But, well, I mean,
think
he's
so?
I'm just
he's
going
my
with what the
height.
commentators
He's not
said.
tall. He's 5'10"
Yeah.
tops.
I can't look at someone and
Yeah.
say how tall and how much they weigh. I'm not that
Right.
person.
It's
Well,
tough.
it's my
really
job,
not.
too. So
I'm like, you're taller, you weigh more than me. Well done.
most people think that way. It's not the case.
Yeah.
I'm not very tall, but I'm really wide.
You have a lot of mass.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
It's a shorter frame, so it's got to go somewhere.
You have a seasoned
It's gonna
mass.
go out.
Yes.
Not up.
Very seasoned.
It's all that protein in the
a lot of
bag.
seasoning.
It's true.
So backstage, Jason Jordan comes up to Seth Rollins with his daddy, and the medical staff saying, I cannot compete. I was warming up. I kind of re-injured my neck. Seth's like, what am I going to do? Kurt's like, well, the match is next. I have to put the match on, or you're going to have to forfeit. And, well, Johnny on the spot, Roman Reigns walks right up to him after already winning a match. And Kurt smiles, Seth smiles, and Jason's like, great. And so, moving on to the bar, taking on Rollins and Reigns. And once again, I love this segment at the end. Jason Jordan comes down to the ring as the ne'er-do-well guy trying to help. And he ends up getting DQ'd by punching Cesaro in the face. So therefore, the bar wins.
I'm so tired of this guy.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm tired of
Tell
him.
me
Yeah.
guys-
You're real. I've got some good news for you because this neck injury is real, and he's probably going to be out for a considerable amount.
Oh,
of
well,
time.
that's depressing.
Wait,
That's
is
what
it
word
real?
on the street is.
Wow.
Oh no.
That he's actually got a legitimate neck injury and that he's having some issues stemming from said neck injury, and that
that
he
sucks.
may actually have to have a medical procedure.
God,
That is what's
I
being
hate
reported.
it when these
I take it all back.
athletes. Yeah,
But I will say
Get
this: if you're
seriously
tired of him,
injured.
that means he's doing his job.
Absolutely.
Oh, of course. I love to hate
if
the
you
guy.
were indifferent, then it's like, oh, well, why is he there?
Yeah.
If he's nails on a chalkboard for you, then it's like he's doing his job.
I think it's fantastic. So
Yeah.
they get DQ'd.
Yeah, Rollins was so put out, and I love it when Rollins is put out because I still remember, you know, the snake back when, that architect with everything slicked back.
The J&J security days.
Oh yeah. Love those two.
Nice.
But yeah, Jordan's doing a great job with this. Not the end of it yet. Braun cuts a selfie promo saying everyone's going to get these hands. Then we move into Seth screaming at Jordan, calls him a selfish SOB, and then storms off.
Rollins put out.
Yeah. Kurt
I
comes
love
up.
this song.
And then Jason's like, what's up with that, Dad? And Kurt's like, go home until you're medically cleared and don't come back till you're medically cleared. And he screams at him. And I loved it.
You know, you had Kurt Angle out there trying to get Alexa Bliss to listen to him. In the meantime, he can't control his own son.
Nope.
Yeah, Kurt Angle doesn't have a lot of control. And you get that sort of week in and week out. He's kind of a hapless general manager.
He kind of
Yeah,
is.
I mean, when you look at how he tries to control Braun, and it's like, no, there's no control there. There's
But can
just
anyone control Braun?
Just give him what he wants.
There's an uneasy truce.
It really is. I hope we don't lose Jason Jordan. I think he's coming into his own with this character, but
And honestly, I would want to pay off. You know, I hate the guy. Every week I'm like, get away from me. I don't want to see you.
He's everybody's
Let-
younger sibling that
He
gets
is.
away with
He is.
everything. Everything. I see you. Everything.
I want Rollins to eventually get the best of him, and I'm not sure, you know, with the news he just gave us, if we're able. if we're going to be able to get that.
I think we will. I think it might take time. Again, I don't know specifics, but this is word that went out today, and that is perhaps why he was not active tonight. He took the non-combative role he did, and it's unfortunate, but it's how these things go sometimes.
Nia Jax destroys local Vanessa Floyd, and then afterwards, Markeia, I think this was one of the best, I guess you can say, promos that Nia Jax has done. I think, saying that Asuka's going to be the Empress of yesterday, and she was very confident in saying it. She's better just talking by herself than having conversations, I think, backstage.
Yeah, maybe it's like having to do the back and forth. Maybe she's very giving when it comes to the back and forth with somebody else. Like maybe giving them a little bit more leeway than they should have in her own kind of promo. But her doing this to the camera, I enjoyed.
Yep. She felt like she was talking to you, right?
Right? There was kind of that, there was that focus. There was that, that present state, which I very much enjoyed. And when she had that present state, I felt like she was having a good time, which made me have a good time just watching her have a good time.
She was in the moment. And I would say cutting a promo after a match is actually far more difficult than just cutting a promo.
Sure.
Because you're winded, you just kicked somebody's ass or had your ass kicked.
And you have to shift that quick.
And now you have to talk with words, and it's incredibly difficult. But she seemed so very present, like you said, and just she ate it up. She ate up the energy, and the crowd tonight was very giving.
Yeah.
It's a very giving crowd in Des Moines.
Yeah, it was Des Moines, right?
Des Moines
Yeah.
are great. I mean,
Des
the
Moines.
Midwest in general are always great wrestling crowds.
Yeah.
Because they appreciate when there's something to do.
That's absolutely the case.
There you go.
Look, I'm going to be in Fort Wayne, Indiana this weekend, and I was told by a friend of mine who lives in Fort Wayne, he's like, dude, there's nothing else to do in Fort Wayne, so people should be at your shows. I
That's
said,
awesome.
I hope.
Are we appreciated in the Midwest? I'm just wondering.
I don't know.
I'm
not sure after that comment.
Y'all appreciate us? I know they can let us know on YouTube.
Look, I'm from an area
tweet
where there's,
us.
I'm from an area where there's
Appreciate
nothing to do too. I make it, whatever. It's Midwest, East Coast, South. Doesn't matter.
So that's why you leave. You leave to go find something.
Let's be
I did
real.
the same
There's
thing.
3 places in the country where there's stuff to do. Otherwise, you're just chilling.
Drinking, getting into trouble.
Yeah. Just be honest about it. Let's see what else. Sonya Deville taking on Mickie James. Mickie with the schoolboy roll-up for the win, but then Absolution attacks afterwards. And then for some reason, Alexa Bliss helps Mickie out. I like the mystery behind this, too. She's got the wheel spinning, but no one knows what's going on.
Oh, she's stacking people in her corner. That's all that is.
Is that what's happening?
That's what Alexa does.
Yeah.
Because remember back when she she confronted it, it was Alexa confronting, it was Mickie and somebody else, and she was like, oh yeah, Nia's out there and she's coming to get us. And they were like, wait, coming to get us? No, she's coming to get you.
Sneaky.
She plays the game. She is a political machine. I don't think anybody on the roster does interpersonal politics the way she does. She's making friends and then getting them to stab other people in the back. She's great about it. And that's sort of why she's been able to hold on to her title for so long. She's good in the ring, but backstage, she's even better.
I agree. I didn't even realize she had the title since they said October. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Alexa's had the title since before October, I think. It's her last defense.
Oh, that's
Was
right.
in October. That's true.
She's had it for quite some time.
Wow.
Yeah.
But she's held on to it by any means necessary, which is how it should be.
Yeah, and thank you, Haywood Wong. It was Dana Brooke with Mickie James in the locker room when Alexa was like, Nia Jax is coming after us.
There you go. Yeah. So dug that. Next week, we're going to have a second chance Fatal 4. I love this. Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy, Apollo Crews. The winner gets the spot in the Elimination Chamber. I think that's really cool because it's weird not having Bray Wyatt or Finn Balor currently in there.
Yeah, it feels off. You're always looking in the chamber like, who can actually maximize the use of the chamber? And I'd say
Finn
at
can
least
climb
3,
everything.
Yeah, we need someone to
out of
throw.
4.
Man, Finn can Spider-Man the crap out of that. It'd be like Spider-Man versus Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher's
No,
ready.
Bone Saw.
Bone Saw, thank you. Bone Saw's ready.
Good call.
I wish Seth Rollins was involved in all this because I feel like he would enjoy climbing that cage as well. It'd be nice.
Well, if it's Cruz that gets to be in there, I'm sure he'll be able to pull off some interesting stunts.
How about this fun fact? Alexa has been champion since August 28th.
Wow.
Well,
What? That's a day after my birthday.
Well, there you go.
that's why she's held it so long.
There you go.
And for 2018, that's a run. That's like a 9-year run back in the day.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
5 months is good.
Spanning 2 years is a neat trick.
Yes. It's a year. Are you kidding me?
Well, no, a year, but at least in 2 different years.
Yes.
2017 and 18. Like that's a neat trick about now.
Agreed. Moving on to the main event, Elias gets on the mic. He calls Des Moines a no-name town. And then he said he turned down performing at the Super Bowl to come to this godforsaken wasteland, and he regrets it. He just keeps improving and just being... And he says everything with no emotion, and that's what makes it even better. Never smiles. He's just, yeah,
Like
here.
these are facts.
But his timing though, it's so great to see the crowd embrace him. Like every arena he goes to, he has the crowd in the palm of his hand, and it's impressive. It's
also because it's completely dark and there's a spotlight on him.
No, but that's happened to other people before. You know, we've had other wrestlers that get the spotlight, and he has that it, and I like it.
Yeah, I enjoy the guests that he has come out with him. Like when he had the Mr. Raj come out on harmonicas.
Yeah.
Still love that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's great. Yeah.
He gets interrupted by Cena. He starts to sing, but yeah. Cena comes out, followed by Braun Strowman. The winner of this match enters the chamber last. Woo! This got violent.
Whoa!
Oh.
Yep.
Yes.
A lot of violence here. Cena hits the AA. Well, no, he fails first. And then Braun just crashes down on top of him. Cena then hits him with the stairs. Braun does not go down. Elias gets him with the guitar. And that rattles Strowman just a little bit, because when you hit a big bear with a guitar, it'll rattle him a little bit. Then an AA onto the stairs. That whole sequence was nuts, and it was fun.
It's interesting to see the two of them team up, Elias and Cena team up on Strowman. But that is exactly what you have to do in these situations. It's not exactly a choice that you make. Do I want to live or do I want to get beat?
Yeah, it's a survival instinct.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You got to make the choice. And I think both Cena and Elias made equal choices tonight, breaking out weapons to take out Strowman, because in a triple threat, there's no disqualification. So they made good use of that over a guy who's really well known for tipping stuff over and breaking everything and anyone.
Grappling hooks.
Yep, grappling hooks.
Yeah.
Tractors.
But I mean, ultimately, when you're running away from a bear, you only have to run faster than your friend. Ultimately.
That is what happened.
So,
Yeah.
By the way, there's some mountain
There you
climber
go.
that is still looking for his grappling hook, I think. It just happened to be in that
or
stadium.
like Batman's like, I had a spare.
Yippers. And so it only got crazier from there. Strowman hits a power slam to Cena, and then Elias sends Strowman outside the ring somehow and pins Cena. So Elias will enter the chamber last, but that is when I lost count of the power slams. Elias, Cena, back and forth, power slams. Yeah, and then he just walked out.
I was just impressed we had an AA outside to Braun Strowman
man.
on top of the steel steps.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
You do what you gotta do. Even John Cena at this point is like, I just want to win. I'm getting old. I don't have what it takes to go the distance. If it's gonna be an AA on the steps outside, you better believe I'm gonna do it.
And it worked. They were able to tame the big bear. I think it worked.
For a moment.
For a moment.
For a moment.
But that's all you need, right?
Yeah. And Elias picked up the victory. I mean,
Very
the
intriguing.
dark horse in this actually securing a victory over Strowman and Cena. He's going to be really enjoying that fact next week.
I'll be honest, I for sure thought Cena was going to be somehow the winner of this. Or Strowman. I did not think, but it makes sense. I love Elias being last in the chamber.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun match for sure.
You know what I want? I want Braun to enter the elimination chamber and be the last one that's supposed to come out, but then he just breaks his own glass and decides to come out whenever he wants.
He's going to do
He
something.
breaks out of his cage.
He's going to do
Breaks out
something.
of his
Wouldn't be the
cage,
first
that's
one.
it.
I forget who did that, but they were like, I'm done with this, and kicked out the
Yeah.
I think that was
plexiglass.
Goldberg.
It might have been.
He's going to do something really weird. But nonetheless, really entertaining Raw. We need to wrap it up. So let's all put ourselves over. Markeia McCarty, go.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Markeia McCarty, Markeia McCarty. And yes, tomorrow we'll be talking many Marvel things, including Ant-Man and the Wasp, and yes, Black Panther, because I've seen it, but it will not be anything spoiler, and it will not be a review. It'll just be impressions. So I'll be staring at the camera and thinking all the things that I cannot say. So see us 2 p.m. on Popcorn Talk, Marvel Movie News, and see you then.
Hobo.
Yep, I'm on the Twitter and the Instagram at True Hobo. I do the NXT after show on Wednesdays right after NXT airs, so be sure to tune in for that. If you want to see my videos of me wrestling and other stuff, go to Soapbox Car TV on the YouTube.
There you go. And Roger.
And you can find me on the Total Divas After Show. You can find me on Twitter, Roger_Corral. And if you Google Beef Supreme, you'll be able to find me as well.
There you go. I am at Jay Quasto. I just got back from Antarctica. Didn't think I'd ever say that in my life. But that's where I was. And let's see, so much stuff coming up. I'm in Chicago Wednesday night at the Laugh Factory. And then I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Thursday through Saturday. If you're in the Midwest, there's stuff to do now. So tell all your friends in Fort Wayne to come out and see me and support. And then next weekend, I am in Louisville, Kentucky, Thursday to Saturday doing shows. So if you're in Louisville or anywhere near there, please come see me as well. Otherwise, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, our next taping is this Sunday, February 11th. Make sure you're watching on the CW. Check your local listings. Watch on Fight TV. So much good stuff coming up. So please check that out as well, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We love you. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Let us know.
Buzz you
later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.